Wait. My mic is... Hello?
Oh, darn. Oh, well.
What?
Um, okay. I was going to hang up, but I lost track of my buttons.
Oh.
So don't pay
You
any
want me...
attention to this message. And word to Victor. And yes, I am, in fact, leaving this message from a McDonald's drive-up speaker box thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Next thing I got to figure out is why my levels look so screwy on the encoder, because I probably am sending garbage sound. Ah, that's why. There we go. That's probably going to sound a whole lot better to the whole 2 people and 50 bots that are listening to the NHB stream, and also Sir Bars's speaker thing. Now let's make sure no other sound settings got messed up. Oh, wow. Well, that was completely wrong, and that was completely wrong.
Uh-huh.
So now I could actually hear you, and you might actually be able to hear me.
Can you hear me?
I
It says
can
my
hear
mic
you.
is it says my mic is muted.
Well,
But it's not.
you would think that restoring a backup of a hard drive that takes an image of the whole hard drive bit for bit would not change a bunch of your Windows settings. And you would be wrong if you had that thought.
No, and you know why? You know why? I will tell you exactly why. When you reinstall a whole OS or you do a re-image, it will say, "Yeah, you know what? I know you reinstalled everything. I know this is a backup, but we're gonna reset all your hardware to what it should not be.
But the thing
Like
is,
you have brand new stuff. That's what
it
Windows
wasn't
does.
even a reinstall. It was this
A
is
backup.
what the zeros and ones were the last time you took an image. We're going to put the zeros and ones back to those settings. That's what it should be.
That's what it should be. That's what it should be. But in their infinite wisdom, hi, I see that your audio might be different, even though it's exactly the same. Let's reset it up completely all over again for you.
You know what we should do? We should take that built-in microphone on the Oculus Rift over there, and we should make that be the default microphone for streaming. And that onboard sound card that sounds like ass,
Yeah.
let's use that to go to NHB. And
Don't put that past anybody, Gators.
Ah.
This is Twitch. I've seen this, and it's fine because the built-in mic, if you're doing an Oculus Rift stream, the built-in mic, not the best mic in the world, but it's cool because you can watch people play and talk at the same time.
yeah, it's cool
So
for
it's fine.
that.
Yeah.
But it's not what I want my computer to use for anything. But that's okay, because once again, we are here for a thing that we like to call
Insert title here.
the show that changes names so frequently. We put a placeholder in. Of course, the placeholder has been consistent for over a year now. I think we've been using that same placeholder for 5 years now, so maybe...
Is it like the border that you used to get in Netscape Navigator when the picture didn't load? It would just be this blue border. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's like that.
Okay.
But different. Anyways, I am here. Mars is here. Brian is in a car 2 hours out from the beach house. So he will be getting there
Is he going to the beach house?
He's going to the beach house.
It's
also
warm.
known
It's warm
as
this week.
also known as the party shed or the party shack or the
It could be a shed.
party
Depends
house.
on who you are.
it's the party house.
I like the party shed.
Party shed. Well, I think there's a shed in the back of the party house, which is where Brian offered Dune the option to crash as we were joking back and forth. But
You know that shed is is used wrongly. You know what it should be for? They should have a refrigerator system in there, and that's where your beer stays. The Gators, right there.
there you go.
The beer shed. That's what that is.
The beer shed. Now, of course, usually Brian would do this, but Brian's not here. So I have to load our channel, and I have to see if an ad loads. And no ad loaded.
Let me look.
So I need to refresh and try to get an ad to load. Usually the ads load when you don't want them, and now they're not loading when I do want them. So I have no idea who to thank for this stream this week.
Let's see. What am I getting? I'm getting a slow internet connection. That's what I'm getting.
Brought to you by a slow internet connection. That is what this show is brought to you by.
Oh wait, what's this commercial? Let's see.
Let's see. Mars is getting a commercial.
I don't want to do. I don't know what that song is for.
So it's an audio. It's a visual commercial that doesn't give you enough context to figure out what it is. All right.
It says
so
open up your phone.
Open up your phone. Okay. All right. So it's a phone commercial?
I have no idea.
All
now
right.
I hear you.
All right. So in that case, it's brought to you by an advertisement that's not blind friendly. There we go. That is who it's brought to you by this week. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and put that in our ticker on the bottom of the screen. Brought to you by an advertisement that's not blind friendly. So,
Gators, I do have one thing to say.
Yes.
As many times as I open Twitch, which is quite a bit now,
yeah,
I have never seen a Tampax commercial. I don't know what Brian is doing, but I have never seen a Tampax commercial.
You know what? I thought that exact same thing last week when Brian said it, but it was too perfect to question, and it did make for quite a funny joke. Yeah. But I have never seen a tampon commercial.
I just want to know what he's been looking at. That's all.
I don't know. I didn't know that Twitch, because Twitch doesn't have that large of a variety of the ads that they're running.
I usually get Netflix or something else.
I generally see the same 3 ads every time I see an ad on Twitch. And Tampax ain't one of them. And you know, maybe they're targeted. But then again, I have a wife. Brian has a wife. So it's not like we're in we're in about the equivalent of what's the word I'm looking for? Target audience. You know, as far as tampon commercials go, Brian and I are both in households that maybe someone might see it that would purchase the product, though not one of us unless we're getting it for someone else, which is perfectly fine.
Or
okay.
you have a nosebleed.
Or nosebleed, as we discussed last week.
Now, I like the little bitty ads, the ones that are like 3-4 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't like the ones that seem like they're 5 minutes long.
I like the ones.
I'm trying to load my stream, and all of a sudden it's like, what is this doing? It just keeps playing. So I go get something to eat and come back, and it's still playing, and I'm like, fine.
I like the ads that are like a minute long, but give you the option to skip 10 seconds in and try to really get a hook in those first 10 seconds to make you want to not skip. And that to me, I gotta say, undefeated champion, I skip every time.
Do you get any? Do you get any dollar for the ads that they put on Twitch for your channel?
I get no dollar from Twitch.
What?
I'm not getting no dollar from this.
You should get dollar for Twitch ads.
Now, speaking of dollar, I spent some dollars, and I also got back some dollars, and we're going to talk about some dollar. And this is good. Actually, it's probably good that Brian's not here this week.
You want to get through a whole story? Is that what you said?
I actually stand a chance of getting through a story, and oh my, is there a story to tell? Because now we could go into backstory, or we could just get to the story. And Sparky Toaster might be able to. Our target audience is people named Sparky Toaster, oddly enough, which worked out perfectly. What are the odds? But Sparky Toaster writes in, yo, dollar. And now, is that the brave little toaster that Sparky Toaster is using as his icon? I've been meaning to ask that for months now.
Is there a little smile on it? It probably is.
There's a smile on it with the googly eyes. And I remember thinking, that's a weird movie the first time I saw it on TV. That
movie is scary as crap if you're a little kid. Seriously, there's like death in there. There's like
the lamp gets struck by lightning, and its bulb breaks, but still lights up.
There's that, and then remember they're in the shack where the guy's like taking them apart, mutating them, putting everything together, and oh my god, there's some scary crap going on in that movie.
Sparky Toaster doesn't know. He just searched his name and that came up.
Okay. Well,
Which is a weird picture to come up for Gern Johnson, but that's okay. Oh wait, was I not supposed to give out his real name? I think that's I think that's the name that Steve Martin used in the routine of his real name, Gern Johnson or something like that.
I think that might be right.
I think that might be. Of course, the other one was and his sister's name was but we're not here to retell Steve Martin comedy routines.
I just remember Saturday Night Live when he kept talking about the Steve Martin and penis cream. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, I remember when Steve Martin had like his singing balls or something like that. I don't know if they phrased it like that, but the microphone was set waist high, and it was weird. I wasn't quite sure what to make of that.
It's Steve Martin. It's okay.
It's Steve Martin. It's okay.
He wears an arrow through his head sometimes. It's fine.
I did borrow his joke about wanting a woman with a head on her shoulders, hates necks, walk into the room, everyone's head turns except for hers because she has no. I totally robbed that joke yesterday when Dune put up that badly photoshopped image of Smoke and Lou's head on a like bodybuilder's body, and the head was photoshopped.
Wait, that's not him?
That's either it's not him or he really has no neck.
Gators,
but
you should not diss people with no neck. They can't help it.
I didn't diss.
It
no
might
diss.
Be a Gators,
no diss. I was commenting on that
it's like some people are born with a stumpy arm. Some people are born with no neck.
It's observational humor. I observe and you laugh. Like.
I mean, think of it later in life. If he's a smoker, Gators, think of it later in life. How is he supposed to get a trach? He can't get one. There's no neck to put a trach in. It's a serious problem.
You know what? I'm sure they can poke a hole through like the top of his chest to get into the windpipe. There's a windpipe. There's flesh. They'll get a hole there. I mean, that's not rocket science.
Gators, the best part was my first landlady at my old apartments. She had a trach and she smoked, and the smoke would come out her neck. It was great.
That takes talent.
That was awesome. And she didn't have a trach at first. She didn't have this.
Some people laugh in the face of death, and some people smoke through their trach.
No. I went to go get my mail, and she goes, "Yeah, you wonder where I've been for like a month, 2 months." I'm like, "Yeah, I was wondering where you were, Linda." And she looks at me. She goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, there's a perforation there now." She goes, "Yes." And then she starts smoking, and smoke comes out, and I'm like, "Wow." Okay.
That just happened.
That's there. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Sparky asking, so can you say why your interrupter is not here tonight? Yeah, driving to he's driving to the party house, the beach house, which apparently he is 2 hours out, which I didn't think it was a 2-hour drive from his house A to house B, but maybe he's driving there from somewhere else. I don't know. All I know is he said, we're on the road to the beach house. We were supposed to go either last night or earlier this morning, but there was too much shit to do. We'll be on the road for another 2 hours or so.
Oh.
You know what I'd like to think? I'd like to think that, Brian's getting some tonight, and he had to make up an excuse to not make the show.
Okay. Gators, are you really thinking about that?
I'm not thinking too hard about that.
Blech.
I mean, there's thoughts that you have that are text only. My brain can go into text mode,
Mine does not.
And let me tell you, the ASCII porn of Brian Blues is not pretty. But sorry,
there's a lot of asterisks and at signs, aren't there?
I hate myself for thinking of that, but I just.
We've just gone
but I
back
couldn't keep that joke to myself.
BBC or PBS. Oh my God.
You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass.
Okay. All right. So, anyways, so last week we were talking about why not why I'm a not dumbass, but why I'm an asshole, and we have to. There was a decision made on that. So the guy refused a return because he felt that since it was his repair job was working when it left his house, from that point on it was my problem, And I felt that, well, because the repair job wasn't done right, it was grounds for a return. And being that the best offer he made me was to give me half my money back, I had no other option but to either just deal with having this tone arm that I have no use for and doesn't help me at all, or appeal to eBay to decide whether or not he should take the return. And eBay, they got together a jury of our peers. They went to a room and they deliberated over it for a whole 5 seconds and said, "We're going to side with the buyer." And I'm not happy that that's the way that eBay's mentality is 100% of the time, but it did work out in my favor this time. And
Gators, there's one guy with a freaking checkbox. That's all it really is. There's not a group of peers discussing it over an oak table.
They send all the details
table
over to a person to review to form an opinion, and then they give them only one button that says "side with the buyer."
Yeah,
that's the eBay.
It's one giant button right in front of a screen. They just say "buyer" button.
One giant button. Buyer's
right.
right. That's what they give them, and I would prefer that eBay use a little more intelligence.
It's like the easy button, but
Yeah.
But
yeah, so they generated a label for me to slap on the box and drop it off, and it was delivered today, and I received notification that the amount is going to be put back on my credit card, and it should show up there on 24 to 48 hours. So that ends that. So I no longer have an SME tone arm.
Did he put a review on your transaction? Did he give you a 5-star rating, Gators?
If he gave me a rating, he probably left out the 2 stars on the left and the 2 stars on the right, and gave me a 1 star right in the middle. And I'd be
that 1 star is really the middle of his hand.
That you know what? I have not heard from him at all.
You probably won't.
Well,
just remember his name for the next time. It's like, oh, I remember him.
Well, the thing is that in the return process, what eBay does when you request a return is they basically give the seller control over initiating the return or pushing a button like, yes, I'll give the return, which gives the illusion that there's some kind of a choice in the process. It makes the seller feel like there is some control over their destiny as a eBay seller.
Wow,
it's all an
destiny.
illusion, but and they have a choice. They could process the return, or they could wait and let eBay process the return for them. It's just that one way is nicer to the buyer, and the other way is,
one way's ripping off the bandage, and one way's
peeling it slowly. But the thing is that while the return process is open, we are free to converse back and forth by sending messages back and forth within that return window. Once eBay makes a ruling on it, that's closed. So we can no longer converse within there. Now, I could probably send him a message directly through other means.
I would just leave that alone, honestly.
But
that's just me. You got your dollar.
So at that point, he did not send me any messages. But also, the easiest way to send me a message was kind of closed, and he would have had to have done it a different way. Sparky Toaster writes in, so Johnny wins? Well, even though I say you should only get a half in refund because you tried to fix it, I will say I'm glad it ended in your favor because I suspect you're a better person than he is. That is my answer. I'm sticking to it. Well, thank you, Sparky. I'll take it.
Gators, are you sending him a picture with a bunny and a pancake on its head?
Well, I know exactly what he's talking about. But I did. I guess I could have printed out a picture of that and put it in with the tone arm. But that'd be weird. Anyways, so yeah.
Which means that's what I would do. Okay, I see.
So that that's the end of that. But that leaves me still with a Luxman turntable and a Denon tone arm that's kind of wobbly and a bit janky, and 2 really good cartridges that I want to use that I've not yet really used to their full potential. And so, like I said last time, in some of the forums where I was asking about things, they recommended this shop called Tech Hi-Fi that's about an hour north of me. And Tech Hi-Fi used to be a chain of stores that went out of business in the 80s. I think they were primarily on the East Coast. They started out of Massachusetts. So some years ago, someone decided to open a store and reuse that name. And I believe they've registered the trademark on that, and they also do business online, which I guess lets the trademark go from coast to coast. And why would I think about those details? Well, because while I was there at the shop, they got a call from a lawyer and mentioned to me there was something going on with another outfit in California trying to use the same name that they were educating about trademark law. But I don't know anything about that.
Oh. See, he just followed the story. He said he was there already. So.
But that made me. I immediately thought to myself, aren't trademarks regional? And I decided maybe I best keep my mouth shut.
I'll keep my mouth shut considering they're going to help you with something, sir.
And then I read online that they also sell stuff online through the internet, and I'm like, okay, well, that would cover the region of the country with their online presence, so that makes sense. But very nice little shop. Unfortunately, the nature of the conversation about the Luxman turntable and the Denon tone arm and the options for other tone arms revolved around him not thinking it was really worth putting the money into it that it would take to fix it up, even though it's a nice turntable. Basically, I think anytime I said, so you recommend this, so you recommend that, he always kind of tried to stand off of any of his suggestions being a recommendation. I'm not recommending anything, or no, not necessarily. It was I really had to find the lines to read between. But at no point did he say, well, let's bring that in for the $45 evaluation and see what we find. And he never tried to get the turntable on his workbench. I'm like walking in the door of the turntable, and he's like, ugh, maybe not. Well, he looked at the tone arm, and he basically was like, I don't know what happened to this, but those bearings are shot. And I'm like, well, I don't like this tone arm anyways. Let's just consider that garbage. He's, maybe it's good for part. It's got a good head shell that'll fit nicely on another tone arm. So about that. And, well, the first thing that's going against me is that the largest manufacturer of tone arms up until recently was Gelco, which went out of business at the start of the whole COVID
That was
thing.
their fingernail things. They're like wee press-ons or something, but they're Gelcos.
No, Gelco with a J, and they went out of business at the start of the whole COVID thing, and he predicts that at some point someone will probably buy that, or someone will fill that void. Some other manufacturer is going to emerge to make tone arms, because I mean, as long as vinyl's a thing,
that doesn't help you now.
That doesn't help me now, but now's like the worst time to need a tone arm, basically. If you want to
have problems at the worst time, don't have those.
Well, my thought is that only indirectly affects me, because the lack of manufacturing a new tone arms directly impacts the ability to buy a new tone arm. But it doesn't directly impact the ability to buy used tone arms. Now, it does indirectly affect that, because, if a product is not being manufactured, people that normally would buy that will turn to other resources. Mm-hmm. No, OX64 writing in nude tone arms.
Oh.
Well, I don't know if well, isn't a type of a stylus a nude elliptical? I don't know if there's a nude tone arm, but you might have a nude elliptical stylus on your cartridge that's mounted to your tone arm. Anyways, so he was not recommending any tone arm options. Also, it seems that this shop doesn't really take in used turntables to resell. They got out of that business a few years ago. They pretty much just, service turntables and sell new turntables. They don't do the flipping thing. Although he did say that he has equipment, he has turntables. And I asked him, well, what vintage turntables do you have you could sell? And he listed off a few things, but he wasn't really interested in bringing them out and showing them to me, and I wasn't all that interested in looking at them because it sounds like he hadn't fixed any of them up yet. It were just things that, well, I could fix something up, but how much it costs would probably depend on how much work he had to put in because he's going to want to get those hours back. But he showed me what he had for new turntables. He basically recommended, like, you'd be better off buying something else, even buying something else used with the tone arm on it, rather than trying to find another tone arm and get it put on there. He was pretty much like, sell that. And I'm like, well, you tell me there's no value in owning it. How am I going to sell it? Why is it okay for someone else to buy it, but it's not okay for me to have it and do something with it? And he's like, well, what's your draw to this turntable? I'm like, well, I have it. It's here, and everyone tells me it's good, and I would think that something that's good in here should be used, and if not by me, someone else. But I do need to use a turntable. There's a lot of elements to that equation that adds to maybe I should fix it up or have it fixed up and use it. But this was not the guy to fix it, and a lot of what he was saying was making sense. I mean, really, the equation in his head was this turntable worth maybe $300 to $500. It's got some cosmetic damage, so probably on the lower end of that.
Well, not you drilled holes in it, yes, but we won't talk about that.
And fixing it up probably cost me $1,000 or more. And at the end of the day, it's not going to be worth as much as I put into it. So he couldn't really recommend that I have him put all the hours into fixing it up and pay for all of that, when at the end of the day I'm going to walk out of the door with a turntable that's not worth the money I put into it. And my thought to him was, I'm not thinking about what I could get for it. I'm thinking about, how much it costs to fix this up versus how much it would cost to buy an equivalent. That's the more relevant.
Yeah.
But also what he was saying was, look, you got your two cartridges, and you say you want two arms for them. If you buy two of these, like he points over to the mobile fidelity turntable. He's like, that's $1,000 right there. You get two of those for $2,000. Put your cartridges on those. You're probably going to do better than trying to fix this thing up.
Well, yeah, because you're charging me $2,000 for things in your shelf. Of course, it's going to do better for you. Now, Gators, I have a question. Were there any thrift shops or whatever on the way there or were you back since you drove an hour? Did you have gone to look at those?
There may have been, but let me tell you, I've looked at a lot of thrift shops over the years.
If you just had a Niles Canyon over there, you'd be fine.
Very rarely do I see a turntable that makes me think high fidelity audio at a thrift shop. Usually it's more of a
pawn shop.
Pawn shop. Maybe a Newmark, maybe a Waka Waka turntable. Yeah.
That's fine. It's fine.
That's not for my purposes. Okay. I got a Waka Waka turntable. I'm looking for a, high-end experience. I'm looking for the turntable that gives me the authority to be a vinyl snob.
Not that hangs on the wall with the laser, then. That's the one you need. That's high-end snobbery. I have one that plays with the laser. Who needs those stupid CDs?
I'm actually not a fan of the laser turntables. I
don't know.
Such a thing exists, but I'm not a fan of them.
But Gators, it's a laser.
Well, yeah, but they only go up to 20K, so you can't even do CD4 on it. So, I mean, what's the advantage? What's the You know what a laser turntable is good for? A laser turntable is good for playing that notoriously difficult to play Telarc vinyl of the 1812 Overture that most turntables jump when it gets to the last cannon shot. That's what a laser turntable's good for. Otherwise, I can think of no good reason for a laser turntable.
Can you change out the laser like you can with your cartridges? Just change. Oh, I don't want red. The blue plays better with this one. Oh, green plays better with this one. We'll do that. Can you just do that? Does that work?
I like that idea. I don't think it works like that, but I
Oh,
like
okay.
that idea.
No, the only reason I keep talking about this turntable is it was an inordinately great price and amazingly high price. That I just crack.
it was like 20 grand.
Yeah,
I
it was
think.
20 grand. I'm like, dude, I don't want to play. I won't play a record that badly. Too bad. No, I'm sorry. No.
I had to sell all my records to buy one of those.
And think of the sound system you have to you have to pair it up with, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. So, anyways, basically, I realized getting someone else to fix up this turntable is going to be difficult, and also what the guy was saying made sense. And I'm telling you, I have no sentimental attachment to this turntable. I just would like it to be in the hands of someone that's going to use it, if not me, or I'd like to use it. And basically, getting a two-arm solution to use both my cartridges would be difficult to do, and would basically mean probably making another purchase of a vintage turntable, and I probably have to buy at least one of the two tone arms that's going to end up on it, because it would probably only come with, maybe I could find a turntable that's got room for a second tone arm that already has a tone arm that works for me.
Arms on it already, though?
Well, but if I find usually a turntable that takes two tone arms has those two turn arms put on separately, and there's some thought into it. And whoever's selling it might not have the same type of tone arms that would suit my two cartridges. Or I might find someone that's selling a turntable with one tone arm on it and space for a second that they never put a second one on. So I kind of realized the whole proposition of buying a vintage turntable and fitting two vintage tone arms on it was also going to be a very expensive money pit type of situation.
Yeah, no, this is going to be cheap.
Ultimately, the simplest solution is two turntables and a microphone. Where it's at.
Are you gonna get the one where you can, but you have to always spin with your two middle fingers and you have a big ass ring. Do you go buy the big ass rings to go with it?
The big ass what?
The big ass rings. All the people that do the turntable with their two fingers, they do the dual turntables. They have the big ass rings on their hand.
Well, I got my wedding band.
That's not big enough. No,
that's...
you gotta have the freaking ones you see at casinos. Those big.
Oh, believe me, a wedding band can do damage when you get the back of the hand across your face. I know, but that only happened once.
La 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 la. This is not marriage counseling. This is a different show.
I'm not saying I did that. I'm just saying that maybe I was mouthing off to my dad once when I was younger, and maybe by chance the wedding band caught my face unintentionally.
Did you have the date stamped on your forehead for a while from when his wedding was?
No, but I had a nice bump there. My dad felt awful. Always made sure to use the other hand after that. I'm just saying, if you wear a wedding band, be careful if you ever go to give someone the back of your hand.
Yeah.
Wow, this got
Pip
dark.
Slapped you. I see how it is.
Well, I was probably mouthing off. I was probably asking for it.
What? You mouthed off? I don't know if that would ever happen. I don't know if that could happen. A sweet church boy like yourself,
Well, I knew to be quiet in church. That's where I'd really get the back of the hand if I was. But I never had that problem. No. Anyways, no. Where was I? So basically, the tone arm worthless, and I hate it. The turntable not worth much without a tone arm. The prospect of buying a tone arm and have someone putting on it is not worth the money when the same amount of money could get me something that's brand new and pretty damn great. So the only dilemma I had was I still want to be able to use both my cartridges at the end of the day, and there's no solution that easily lets me do that. So I kind of realized if I'm going to move forward, I'm going to have to embrace the idea of two turntables, and if I'm not ready to buy two turntables right now, I'm going to have to buy one and figure out the second one later. So I took a look at what he had, and he had some pretty nice options there. And what I landed on was an NAD C588. So yes, I bought myself a NAD.
So you fingered the NAD. Okay.
I It's a really good turntable. I'm looking quite but and now in fact the reviews I read about that turntable, there's a lot of turntables that have the same thing every time I read it. And I think to myself, who cares? I already have the cartridge I want, because a lot of turntables are really nice turntables that come with a really okay cartridge. Not a bad cartridge. Not that it's not good. It's a good cartridge, but it's not necessarily a great cartridge. So, but I've noticed that for a lot of reviews I've read, that they kind of put a more entry level cartridge on a good turntable, and that always made sense to me, because I always felt like buying a cartridge is an easy upgrade for a turntable, and there's such a wide range of prices and manufacturers and technology when it comes to cartridges. I kind of figured they just threw something on there just so that you can use it, because I guess there's not a lot. I would have thought that you just sell a turntable at that level without a cartridge, that you'd have to buy it separately. But I guess there's a motivation there to have a full product. So they're not going to go that nuts. I mean, it's a $1,000 turntable. It comes with a $100 cartridge on it. So it's a $900 turntable with a $100 cartridge that maybe I could get the $100 for it.
The reason they do this, Gators, is they say, okay, well, there's this cartridge just at every entry level. But if you want to buy a nice cartridge from us, too, you can spend money here, too. It's basically an upsell.
Right.
That's what they basically are.
But and you could buy the more expensive cartridge, but then you have this $100 cartridge you're never going to use, and it's like, well, couldn't you price the turntable at $900 and you have to select a cartridge that goes with it? But
if you're buying it online, yeah, I bet you online you can do it. If it's
I checked. It's standard.
Really?
It comes with the Ortofon. What does it come with? It's the red one. Here I'm looking at the Ortofon 2M Red cartridge, which is not a bad cartridge, but it's
a lot of Ortofons. I was actually watching something the other day, and someone talked about the Ortofon Black cartridge, and I'm like, hey, I know Gators has one of those thingies.
Well,
the bronze. But
they're probably talking about the 2M Black, because like most of Ortofon's cartridges have 3 levels within the same design. So the 2M Red is kind of the bottom of that range, and there's the 2M Blue, which is really a 2M Red, which the same cartridge but a different needle. It's the needle housing that's red or blue. So you could buy a 2M Red cartridge, and then when the needle wears out, buy a blue stylus for it, and you basically upgrade it yourself. And the 2M Black is the third level in that range. I don't know if that's the same, a different needle on the same cartridge, or if there actually is a more high-end
I don't know. The
version.
Audiophiliac was talking about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that line of Ortofon cartridges is a good entry-level thing to put on, like your Orbit U-Turn or whatever. But for an NADC 588, I'd imagine anyone that's buying that, the first thing they're doing is taking that cartridge off and putting on something like my Rondo Bronze or whatever you might have in your
the question
arsenal.
is, did it have the right weights on it, Gators?
It should. It should be. The guy told me it's fully adjustable. It'll take the cartridge. And I left him the Rondo Bronze cartridge. He's putting it on there and aligning it, and he's going to call me when it's ready to be picked up.
Oh. Wow, you left your cartridge.
Actually, no. It's a $900 turntable. It's $1,000 because I had to pay extra for the hour of labor to put the cartridge on it.
It takes an hour to put a cartridge on? I thought you just snapped it in there.
Well, no, you got to adjust the height and the azimuth and the overhang and the there's some fine-tuned adjusting.
Better than the ones I used to have. I used to have one that was belt-driven, and it was part of the stereo, and you just take the little orange thingy off, you pop it off, you pop a new one on, and there you go.
Well, in theory, that turntable would have already been aligned, and the cartridge alignment would hold, and when you change the new needle should be the same as the old, so the alignment would hold.
It played my Bay City Rollers well. I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyways, there's the picture of it for those that are watching. So I'm quite excited about getting that this week.
Ooh, are you getting it this week, you said?
Yeah. As soon as he calls me up that my cartridge is on it and all aligned, I gotta drive
the show
up there
might
and
be
pick it
shorter
up.
if he calls in the middle of the show. I understand. Okay.
They're closed
It's like,
on Mondays.
It's like, oh, yeah, it's 5:45. Yeah, he just called. Bye. See ya.
Yeah, no, they're closed Mondays, and
What?
they close
What
at
do they?
they-
Oh, never mind.
and they close at 5. So yeah, basically it's more along the lines of I got to find a way to skip out of work for part of the day to drive up there and get it. But
Work from home, just VPN with your car.
It's
and
got
drive
a-
up there.
it's got a glass
not
platter. It's belt driven.
Wait, it's glass?
Yeah, well, it comes with a felt mat to dampen that. Although I might swap that out for a cork mat. I'm not sure yet. But
Yeah, the old ones. I didn't know they had like. I've always seen the quirky ones.
yeah,
My,
well,
my grandpa's had a quirky one.
that's the one thing he kind of didn't like about it, that it has that felt mat. But I was reading up on it, and the felt mat was more to dampen the glass platter. But the problem with the felt mat would be that it has more slippage. But that's easy to solve. You put a record weight on it, and I'm all set there. Or I could just, throw my cork mat on there and take, and put the felt mat away. I got options. I'll do a little bit of trial and error, decide what I like better. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, that's good. I'm pretty sure you like that better than what you had anyway.
and
What
this
was
is
the other
turning.
one? Did you just give it to him?
No, the other one I brought home, and I got to figure. Either I'll try to buy a tone arm for that at a later date, and
Yeah.
maybe I'll take that opportunity to try again to learn how to put on a tone arm, and maybe
Oh, that could be your DIY. I'm trying things out.
that could be my DIY project, or
Yes.
maybe at a later date when tone arms are more readily available, I'll buy something and he'll pay him to put it on, or maybe I'll just sell it and take the money to put towards a second new turntable. But this is turning into a bigger project than I thought, because one of the questions I asked him while I was there was, do the legs adjust to level the turntable? Because obviously I'm going to want to make
Yeah,
sure
you
this.
got the little thingies, the little springy things. You can tighten up on them.
Right. But I'm also concerned that they have enough of that, because I know it was a challenge for me to get my Luxman turntable level on my stereo rack, because this old house is old enough that it had knob and tube wiring in the attic, so that's pretty old, and the floors have settled a bit over the
Put the little
decades.
thingy on the
So-
bubbles in the middle. It's even, right?
Right. But even when I would do that with the Luxman, I'd have to loosen the leg as far as it could go before it would pop off the last thread. And at that point, it was almost level. And then I'd have to start sliding bits of paper, cardboard under the legs to get it dead on.
Playing cards are your best friend, sir.
And so I asked him about that. I'm like, well, how much wiggle room is there, or am I going to have to start using some, shims to level
Do
this
I
thing?
need an ace of spades for this thing? A seven of clubs. Which one do I put underneath there?
And the guy said, well, tell you what you do. Do you own your house? Yes, I do. And he said, well, mount a shelf to your wall. That'll help you further isolate it from the floor, and then you can make that shelf level.
Gators.
Yeah.
This means you have to patch the holes before you poke new holes in them, or
You're getting way ahead of me.
oh, sorry.
Man, did I tear up this wall yesterday? When Parliament said tear this mother up, they were talking about my walls. That's why I think they were talking about plaster walls and running wires. And
said tear down that wall.
tear down that wall. Well, I tore it down and I built it back up. Is what I had to.
So the
do.
wall is built entirely of spackle, right?
Half of it, anyways. Well, I've been alternating between putting a layer on, sanding it down, putting a layer on, sanding it down, and eventually I'll blend it all nice together, and I'll get my touch-up paint that's almost the right color, but just a little dark, and go good enough. So. That's, a rack's going in front of that anyways. No one will see it. It already looked pretty bad from the last person that left seams every place they repaired. So my work will blend right into what was already there. Yeah, well, basically, my rack is over here, and putting a shelf on that wall over there would make me have to reach pretty far over the edge of the futon to reach the turntable. It would not be a good, easy to access space to put a turntable. So I decided to move the rack over there where it's more accessible, more easy to reach, and a better place to put a shelf. Of course, there's no outlet in the wall over there. And I thought, well, that's no problem because it's just a simple wall between this room and the closet. It's just a simple hole from the attic to drop right down to the floor, and we'll get that outlet. We'll bang that out in a few hours. And I found out that no, I will not, because when they repaired this wall, they replaced some portions of the wall with drywall, and they kept some portions plaster, and they did a half-assed job where you can see the seams, and there are two cross braces in that wall that I had to drill through to get a damn wire down to the floor. I don't know why they put two cross braces there, but they put two cross braces there. So this wall was built like Fort Knox when it comes to running a fucking wire for a damn outlet in my
wall. It's a load-bearing wall.
I don't think so because the house didn't collapse when I cut one of them.
You didn't give it enough time.
Sparky says, Johnny, show us your holes. Oh, okay. All right. So hole number one, I had to cut a hole for the outlet. Now, here's the problem. The problem is I didn't learn my lesson from the last time I did this. And the reason for that is that I started working on walls that were not as bad as the ceiling I previously tore up. And downstairs, when I was running in the lath is a pain in the ass to cut with the oscillating saw. It just because the saw is wiggling back and forth, and what does the lath do? It wiggles back and forth within the saw. So and then it creates a bunch of friction, and then it starts to smell like, burning pine. So my room smelled like a forest fire just from trying to cut holes in my walls. One thing I learned was that a reciprocating saw cuts lath much quicker than an oscillating tool. And then I took the reciprocating saw out and I cut through the lath, and I looked at all the plaster sitting on my floor, and I said, oh yeah, that's what happens when I do that. Forgot about that. So let me find the pictures, because yes, I do have pictures. I tweeted pictures of the first.
I did see some 4-letter words here and there.
Oh yeah.
I saw some caps.
There were some of those. So there we go. There's that. So as you can see, I cut a hole in the lath, and the plaster all around it came off, and that was okay because I had some spare sheetrock, and so I just kind of squared off that hole and cut a sheetrock patch over the size of that hole, and there was plenty of lath there to screw into. And so I made it look like that, which looks much more presentable. Looks like a wall again. And yes, the piece of blue tape to the right is marking where the stud is, because I was able to see that while I was in there. And the piece of blue tape to the left of that is marking the spot where I had cut away lath, so that the next time I cut a hole into my wall for the outlet box, I would cut in within there and have a straight shot into the wall. Now, the other problem I ran into was that I couldn't find the one-pole blue boxes I so love. I could only find two-pole blue boxes, and so I bought that two-pole blue box and figured, well, I'll just put 4 outlets in instead of 2. I'll just put, a pair of outlets.
Did you put 4 outlets on one wall?
You could do it. I mean, an outlet has 2 outlets, right? And so if I put 2 of those, I'd have 4. And you just basically just got to split, just put a pigtail on your run that's going there to split your hots and neutrals and grounds out to the 2 outlets, and you're set. And
that's why you put 2 outlets on the bottom of the near where they usually go, right? But then you put 2 outlets near the ceiling. So if you mount something up there, it's easy to plug in up there.
Well, I could do that if I had 2 separate boxes, but I bought one 2-pole box. But unfortunately, this 2-pole box was too deep for my very, very shallow wall between this room and the closet. But I did have some shallower metal 1-pole boxes on hand that I had ripped out of the wall from a previous work. And so I was able to fit that in. So patching the wall let me cut a narrower hole. And so I got that. But then I ran into problems because I kept running into obstructions. And so I got my long-ass drill bit from the attic to drill through the first support I ran into. But then I couldn't get my but then I couldn't get the fishing rod all the way down to my outlet box because there was a second support I kept hitting. So I had to cut a hole in the wall to see what was going on at the first support, and I saw, okay, I'm there, and I got the hole through there. So then I had to, I was able to. I tried to drill through the second support, and I thought I had, but it turns out my closet wall is a false wall that leaves a gap between the original wall and the closet wall.
They made your closet smaller with the false wall.
They made my closet smaller by a few
horrible.
inches.
I would have yanked that false wall out. There's a good, bigger closet. Go away.
Now, 582 says cut the box, but then the box would be open in the back. You can't have an open box. That's not to code.
Wait, Gators, question. How much is what you're doing up the code?
Everything.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow, really? I'm impressed.
What I'm doing is to code. I don't know whose code, but it is to code.
It is a code. Okay, never mind.
Sparky writing in 2-pole blue box is better if you're going to have a rack on that wall. I agreed. I just didn't have enough wall to work with to make it work. So I just have a 1-pole metal box, which is grounded and to code. And I could put one of those 6-outlet things on top of it and plug a power strip into one of the outlets on that. But the fake wall in the closet gave me just enough room for when I would drill a hole with my long flexible bit for the hole to cut through the original wall into the false wall. And so I'm there fishing this pole down to the floor, and I'm touching the floor. And the pole is not visible at my outlet hole. The pole is not visible in the closet. And I'm like, where could it be? Did I open up a black hole or some type of a vortex in my wall? And eventually I saw the very tip of the pole through the lath on the other side of the hole from the outlet box. And I'm like, motherfucker, you little son of a fuck. And so I cut a hole. I was able to basically measure where where the pole was tapping the support that it was pushing past out into the other wall. And I'm like, I'm going to have to cut a hole here so I can get in there and drill a hole through that support. And I cut a hole and I ran to lath. And at that point, it was some kind of weird board that had a metal coating on it of some sort. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And I just had it at this point. So I said, I used the oscillating tool to cut the lath. And then I was having problems with that because this fucking support, I couldn't reach it at an angle to get a good hole in it. So I said, what the fuck is this support doing for me other than getting in my way? Fuck this support. I'm just going to, cut a big chunk of it out. And I got my reciprocating saw, and I figured it was solid enough I could just cut right through it. And it shook more plaster off my wall. And that was all caught live on my stream this past Sunday on this channel. So if you all didn't catch that live, you missed out.
Wait, are the VODs up there?
They are. They are.
Okay.
You get a great shot of my ass in sweatpants, though, for most of it. So I don't know if...
So it's okay. I can't see it anyway.
I looked at that and I thought to myself, I probably should have set the camera up somewhere from a side angle instead of from a back angle because damn, can you see my ass in those sweatpants? And damn, do I not want to see that? Yeah.
So get your VODs while you have a while you have a chance.
Oh, I'll leave them up there.
my god.
Here, I'll
It's
even.
not, wait. It's not TOS.
It's covered with sweatpants. I think that's TOS.
Okay. They're not flesh colored sweatpants at least, right?
They're gray.
Good.
All right,
Unless
tell you
your
what.
flesh is gray, then you know.
Let's see what. All right, so I did it in 4 parts because my battery died a few times, and I had to stop to use the shitter at one point as well. So you and I wasn't going to share that.
She had to check the plaster in the bathroom. I see.
I had
that
to.
hasn't come off yet or peeled. It's fine.
All right. So, anyways, we'll go ahead and we'll share my screen of that. Is it not showing the video? Oh, let's see here. Oh, there we go. So there I am fishing into the hole in the attic. I had already put the hole in the attic at this point, and this is where I am running into some resistance that I can't quite get that through the hole. So then we came back down to the room. I'm just going to jump ahead around a bit here. Oh, I had to come back down the basement for some reason, probably to look for a tool. Oh, this is when I'm looking for my long drill bit. Okay, so I get the long drill bit, and we're going to drill us a hole through that first support. Yeah, that's and then I knocked my phone over.
Oh, that's okay. You need one of those ones that the YouTubers have. It's like this chest mount. You just put your phone on it.
All right, so here's where I gave up on that and started cutting another hole in the wall for the first support that I ran into. So that's the lovely oscillating tool. Let me tell you, cats love this sound.
Yeah, they're all hiding underneath the couch door, aren't they?
Oh man, do cats love sounds like this? And all right, so there we go. So there's that hole, which looks nice and tidy at first, and it pretty much stayed tidy. That hole's not too bad. That hole is pretty much patched and just needs to be painted over. And let's see if we can find that hole and get down there. So at this point, let's see, we're still having some trouble getting. Oh, this is when So at this point, I'm trying to drill up through that support because that's when I figured out that there was something blocking me between. Basically, at this point, I had a hole near where the shelf's going to go and the hole in the floor. And I'm like, well, let's get a pole between those two holes. And I couldn't because I kept getting cock blocked. So here I am. I'm still trying. I think some cursing happens at some point during this. A line with this stud. That should come out there. Yeah. I don't get it. Don't get it.
Gators, you need a sledgehammer.
Nowhere else this thing could possibly be going. Yeah, that's where I'm putting the pole down. It's touching the floor, but it's not visible from the outlet hole. It's not visible from the closet because I kept ending up in the thin gap between the closet wall and the original wall that wall was covering.
You know, I'm sorry, Gators. If it's that big a gap, I'm taking that false wall. I want a bigger closet.
I'd have to take all the shit out of my closet to do that. And as you can
do you
see,
have a sledgehammer? Just do it around the stuff.
I'd have to
do that.
All right, so here's the point where I start cutting another hole into the wall.
Is a really awful seam where some really shitty work was done. So something happened here. Key punch.
Yeah, there was some wording on the metal coating of that board, and the key punch was the only word I could make out from that. More cutting, more oscillating tool, which sucks.
Yeah, don't breathe that in.
And somehow at that point above there, I keep ending up slipping behind that wall and in front of the panel that's the closet wall. So we need to take a little bit more off on top of this.
Famous
little bit
last
more.
words, just take a little more off.
This, if I can see what I'm doing.
Like I said, my ass looks awful in those sweatpants.
Yay, I can't see.
My apologies.
I can't see. I have been saved. Sorry, Sparky Toaster. You get
Sparky Toaster going, I love these home DIY videos. This is reality, unlike TV reality shows.
And that's where it goes through. Oh, damn.
It's like home time, but with
Let's-
theaters.
Let's see if we can find the point where I destroy this wall. Oh, that sounds like,
Oh, great. There's fucking nails in this, too.
Alright, the reciprocating saw is out, so some damage is gonna happen.
Gators, I say a sledgehammer would have been easier.
This support is completely unnecessary for this one.
Oh, this is the drill. This is the impact driver with the drill bit at this point. This is not the reciprocating saw yet. I'm still trying to put a hole through it. And at some point, I say fuck it to that, and I grab the reciprocating saw, and then the real damage happens. At this point, I'm drilling like multiple holes to weaken the support to make it easier to notch it.
It's coming out.
It's
There
not-
it is! Here it
not
goes!
low- It's not low bearing, right?
Well, it's not now. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Well, that's breaking that half-assed seam job. Okay.
Wow, I'm sorry I missed
Fuck
this.
you, wall. Fuck you, too.
Wow. He's all mad at the wall.
At this point, I decided maybe I'll not continue doing damage and go back to the oscillating tool. And then I realized, no, fuck that. And
All right, this is quickly spiraling out of control. Let's see if we can get this wall back into shape here before we get too far gone.
so I tried to screw the plaster back into the lath to
How
keep
did
it
that
from
work? How did screwing your plaster work, Dave?
Come
How'd
on,
that
go
work?
back in.
not good. I couldn't get the wall to go back together. I'm trying to do a little
It's okay.
do a little firm tap to get that seam back together. I mean, it was a
Yeah,
bad seam, but it was a intact seam.
All right, well,
Whereas now I had a split seam.
gonna need a bigger patch.
Oh.
Let's take that out because that ain't helping anything.
All right, so the screw I put in, we're going to take out because it just broke right through the plaster anyways.
That's done.
All right,
That's off.
now I'm peeling
It's
plaster
not
off the wall.
happening.
I've conceded
That we could probably
defeat.
salvage.
Just had an impact hammer and get all
Touch up
that plaster
seam a
off at
little
once.
bit.
Yeah, if I had enough
Probably have to
wallboard.
cut that down to there and that down to there. We may as well finish getting this fucking support out of our way.
Freak. Bye, support.
And we cut, and probably got to saw through that nail that was holding the end in there.
There we go. Straight shot. Boom.
I need that support. It's fine. Don't walk in that one spot upstairs, though. You'll fall through. Sorry. Don't walk there.
Well, it's
That is why I fucking hate the dipshits that worked on this house before me. The fuck was that doing there?
It was holding up the ceiling. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
ceiling is still firmly in place. 48 hours later.
Gator, have you walked in that one
Okay,
spot upstairs?
So we got a bigger
On the
job
attic?
ahead of us.
Yeah.
Yes, because I had to go back up there to run the wire.
Okay.
Scrap drywall to patch with. So I'm probably going to have to make a run to the hardware store at some point here.
They must know you really well there now.
I use the self-checkout. All right. So, anyways, let's go over the chat. OX64, I just bust the whole wall out, do what's needed to be done in there, and sheetrock it
See?
back up. Let's see. This is the point where people who are mad at the not blind friendly ad should be glad they don't see John's ass.
Yay!
Yes, Sledgehammer for sure. Sparky can't stop laughing. X64, screw all this. That wall is coming down.
What?
Sparky writes in, no wall is going to win over Johnny's power tools. X64,
Like I said,
shit
you
about
need
to
it.
get real.
You need an impact hammer right there.
5 and 2 goes, Johnny, does your wife just crank her headphones up really loud? Oddly enough, yes. Yes, she did keep her headphones on all day. And I had to, when I came down and she was making dinner and I had to give her an update on what happened, she said, hold on, let me take off the headphones. Sparky
Smart.
suspects she leaves the house. Let's see. OX64 removes support. Whole house collapses.
Pretty much.
I mean, look, it's a small little interior wall. There's a corner over there. There's no logical reason for there to be a cross support there that is load bearing or important to the structural integrity of this house. I mean, it's not. It's I'm not an architect, but I was confident enough that support I think was put there. That support was the same place where there was a seam between where the bottom half of the wall is plaster and a portion of the wall is board. So I think that support was put in there to make it easy to attach the new portion of replacement wall to. That's what I think that was there for, but I'm not 100% sure. It was more for wall stuff than house support. Dune writes in, how does the second wall have lath? Well, there's a gap between the two walls, so there's lath on either side of the gap. If you were inside the wall, there'd be lath in front of you and lath behind you because there's a wall in front of you and a wall behind you because you're inside the wall. Sparky Toaster and OX64 laughing. Sparky Toaster writes in, support was a sister stud. Yes.
You realize Gators is just playing a real life version of Jenga.
Yeah.
Just don't cut the wrong one. The house all collapses.
Dune goes, so is there a record player on the wall now? Well, I've not gotten the call to pick up the record player yet. I do need to do a few more layers of plaster and sanding before I put the touch-up paint on, and then I need to disassemble all the stereo equipment on the rack, move the rack over there, reassemble the stereo equipment, rerun speaker wire, and put it all together.
Does your rack now have wheels on it?
No, it doesn't have wheels on it.
That's the easiest mod ever.
Yeah,
You don't
well,
have to take down a wall. You just put some casters on it.
the floor is carpet. And it's not like I want to wheel this thing around. I want it to be stationary. So I don't need but anyway, so that was that. I did also post let's see. The battery died at some point shortly after that. But I did post a part 4, and part 4 was me putting the actual outlet in once I got the wire run down there. So see, there we go, wire. There's the beginnings of one of my patches that I started putting on. It needed some more sanding and joint compound and sanding and joint compound. It looks a lot better now. I've basically the wall is fully patched. It just needs to be touched up. So here I am wiring in the wire to the ground screw, and getting everything together there. Yes, I wear Fruit of the Looms. So we'll fast forward a little bit to when my pants are pulled back up. And basically wiring in an outlet. There it is. Outlets in the wall. Wow, you can really see my underwear there. And then I put the power back on in the basement, and then I tested the outlet, and somewhere, oh, there we go. Here's where I got my alarm clock, and we're going to plug it into the outlet. No sparks, no fire, at 12 o'clock.
It's the wrong time.
12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. So there you go. I think that was a successful stream, don't you?
But isn't that the wall you're gonna put a shelf on?
Well, the people that saw the video also saw that there were two supports that were put on that wall, and both the supports were screwed into studs. And yes, the shelf sits level on there. So yeah, that's the wall that the shelf's going to go on.
Is it gonna be wide enough for your for your record player?
Yeah, the shelf's going to be wide enough for 2 record players, actually.
Oh, okay.
Well, the thing is that Home Depot didn't have any shelves that were deep enough for my turntable, so I had to go to Lowe's, and I got the narrowest shelf that was deep enough for my turntable, and the width of that shelf was wide enough for 2 of my turntables. And I said, well, perfect. Now I got a place to put the second one. So I'm all set now. I'll set one up there, and at a later date, I'll have a place to set up the second one.
There you go.
So, yeah, so we'll have to keep you all posted and up to date. Hopefully next Monday, when we're doing the stream, I'll be able to turn the camera and show you 2 turntables. No, not 2. A turntable on the shelf on the wall there. And we'll be all set.
You never know. It could be 2 turntables.
Could be 2 turntables and a microphone.
I mean,
Where
you
it's
have to
at.
go back there to pick one up, right?
Yeah, I got to go back and pick it up. So I'm waiting for the call. And hopefully I'll get out there this week. So yeah, that's the story, and I'm quite looking forward to it. OX64 writing in 2 turntables and a microphone, bottles and cans. Just clap your hands. Just clap your hands. Sparky Toaster asking if I have one of something that I. All right, let me open up my Twitch window again, and see if I can get the link from there.
Oh, does it give you the link to StreamYard?
StreamYard doesn't give me a clickable link.
Oh, that's
yes, I do.
StreamYard, fix that.
That was a very good question, Sparky Toaster, because that would have been a far better test than to plug in my alarm clock and see if it goes 12 o'clock. Yes, I have one of those. No, I don't remember where I put it down the last time I was using it. Yes, I'm sure I will trip over at some point this week. But yeah, I do have one of those somewhere. I would have spent more time looking for it, but I was streaming. So I'm just like, I don't know where it is. A stream of me tearing apart this house looking for that little piece of plastic to plug into the wall to see 2 lights light up and 1 light not is a boring stream. Let's just grab the alarm clock and call it good.
If you had one of those light up fragile legs from whatever, that would work too.
Now Sparky goes, agreed. That tester checks polarity. Exactly, because if I had reversed my neutral and hot lines, the alarm clock would still work, but I'd have a problem or a potential problem. And but I'm also fairly confident that I put the gold on the black and the white on the silver. But yes, let me tell you, next time I find that brick, just to be triple sure, I'm gonna plug it into that outlet and make sure that I get 2 oranges and no red. Or in this one it's yellows, but I think mine has oranges. So 2 oranges, no red, is what I'm gonna want to see.
Wow, they have things that do that.
Yeah, it's a outlet tester. Wow. It lights up 2 oranges and no red if everything's all right, but it lights up different things with a. You look up the code on there and it tells you how you fucked up. Dune goes in. I should fly there. Replace the turntables with 2 close-in plays. Oh, no.
Oh, are those the boxes you close them up and they play that way?
No.
I love those. I had one of those as a kid. We used to have those at the record player. You close the box up and it played.
Dune, I know they don't let you carry on the plane, so I'm I'm pretty sure I could
Well,
No,
it depends on what permit he has. He probably could.
I don't know. I still, you know what? I got that taser flashlight in the drawer, and I thought it was broken, but then I charged it, and yeah, it pops now.
Did you get that from Woot?
I think Dune got that from Woot. Sparky writes in, Johnny, here's how I remember it. Remember the Beverly Hillbillies? Black is gold, Texas tea, so black wire goes to gold screw. Yeah.
Hey, that's a good idea. That's a good analogy. I learned something.
I don't know where I was going with that whole thing. Anyways, but yeah, well, I always thought of it as, silver is closer to white. So it just seems to me logical. Silver and white align better than gold and white, and black and gold kind of go better than black and silver. So it just seems pretty logical to me. Let's see. Dune writes in 2 USB turntables plugged into Chromebooks.
That'll work.
No, it won't.
Okay.
I not plugged into the outlets I wired up.
Yeah, you know what? The outlets he wired up does not work
Sparky
with Chromebooks. I'm sorry.
Sparky says, I like my logic better than your logic, Johnny. No,
Yeah,
that's very good. That's
I
very
like his
good.
logic. Yeah.
Black gold Texas tea. That's very good. And I wasn't giving logic. I was just saying that's just the way my brain works. Like, what, black goes to gold, white goes to silver. I pretty much, it was just like, yep, checks out. I agree. It was kind of...
Well, Gators.
It was
did
kind of
leave
like,
it
wow,
open,
how
so-
nice of the electrical industry to agree with me that that's the logical way to do it.
Oh my god.
I'm just saying that's the way my brain's wired. It's like, when I was, there are some things that when you read it or you're told it, you just like, that makes complete sense. That's exactly what I would have, guessed. And I will always remember that. And then there's some things that you are always forgetting and can never keep straight.
There you go. Tattoo
There you
that on
go.
your forearm.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing that there are those fat cows that get demented and eat babies, or I would never remember the orders of sharps.
Oh my god. What?
The orders of sharps. Fat cows get demented and eat babies. F, C, G, D, A, E, B. That's the order of sharps in the rules of music.
Well, that just means everybody needs to eat more steak to save the babies.
Key of G has 1 sharp, F sharp, fat. Key of D has 2 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, fat cows.
Oh, okay. There you go. Everybody has learned something.
G, D, A. So key of A has 3 sharps, F, C, G. Fat cows get F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. OX64 writing in, what in the hell? That's worse than the resistor color code saying. You don't like fat cows get demented and eat babies?
OX64, eat more steak. It helps.
Here's something I found.
No,
on the
I
web.
didn't.
Wait. Some cuts of steak, for example flank, skirt, benefit from marinating before
Oh,
cooking.
okay, thank you.
That's good to know.
I've worked through things.
5-hit dude running in. Okay, it's official. He hit a gas line. Sparker said, Dune, Johnny's mind is wired with the black wires on his silver screws. And the order of flats goes backwards. So you gotta just take fat cows get demented and eat babies and flip it. So, the first flat is B. So the key of F has 1 flat. That's B flat.
So demented babies eat fat cows?
Sure.
Okay.
And the order, fat cows get demented and eat babies is also, if you go through the keys in that order, is where you add. No, I'm wrong on that. You'd have to go backwards. But yeah, the key of F has 1 flat, so it's B flat. What's anyways? I'd have to. I'm thinking too much. Oh, that's right. The key of B flat has two flats: B flat, E flat. And basically, you just go one flat past the key that you're in. So the key of E flat would have B flat, E flat, A flat. And then the key of A flat would have B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. It's a very logical system. It's very beautiful when you kind of, those basic rules make you go, wow. It's kind of like math in a way. In the sense of the logical. It's like math, but with letters and tic-tac-toe boards and little lowercase b's. And white keys and black keys.
I thought those are hashtags in the Twitter.
The hashtags in the Twitter is the sharps, yeah.
God. Okay.
And Sparky writes in that he was thinking of the resistor color code at the same time you typed that. I don't know the pneumatic for the resistor color code. I probably should learn that. What let's Google that. Let's see what they are. Well, no, there's calculators online, alphanumeric and color codes. How to remember resistor color codes, Google Groups. Let's see here. When I was in electric school, I was taught a little ditty to remember the order of the resistor color code. The little poem involved racism and rape, if I remember correctly. I am reluctant to pass this god-awful tradition to kids interested in electronics today. What memory tool are schools teaching? What it sounds to me like Sparky and OX64 know what this racism and rape color code is. Take your pick. Better be right or your great big venture goes west. Bad booze rots our young guts, but very good whiskey goes smooth. Batman blows Robin on yonder Gotham's bridge. Very good, Wayne. Get Superman next.
Ew.
Not great, but PC is the semi-memorable phrase via the U of M Society for Women's Engineers. By becoming revolutionary orators, young girls become very great women. Better buy resistors or your grid bias voltage goes west. Big Bird runs on your garden, but vegetables grow wonderfully. Better build roof over your garage before van gets wet. Black beetles running on your grass bring very good weather. Betty Brown runs over your garden, but Violet Gray walks. Because boys run over your garden, be violent, get Western shotguns. Now here's the thing. As awful as something is, if you remember it, that's all that matters. Because, let me tell you, when I was in class, my music professor, Dr. Scott Eggert, was normally a pretty, straightforward, very nice guy. Kind of just straightforward, professional teacher, very nice guy. Have nothing but nice things to say about him. But it was just one of the most memorable things because it was the strangest thing that ever came out of his mouth when he taught me the mnemonic. Because he says, anyone have a little mnemonic or a phrase they use for the order of sharps here, the FCG? And someone raised their hand, and they said something that I have no clue what it was. I do not remember it at all to this day. And Dr. Eggert said, yeah, that's very good. I always use fat cows get demented and eat babies, and I'll never forget that. Room burst into laughter. I'll never forget that. Five Doon asking, is Johnny done ruining music yet? Oh, OX64 going, I can't repeat it. It's 2021 and I'd be banned off Twitch, Amazon. Okay, so apparently other people are referring to this one. Let's see. And they confirm that, yes, they do know the one he's talking about. I'm still working on being less white, sorry, from OX64. Let's see. Violet was easy. Yes.
Wow.
I'm trying to figure out what the mnemonic could be. Few words are coming to mind, but I'm not quite getting it yet. But I'm sure with a little more Googling, I can find what you're referring to. I'll have to save that for after the show in case I start reading things out loud without thinking about them.
Great.
Can you type in Twitch and I will PM you? Let's see. Type in Twitch. What whisper? I guess I could whisper Sparky Toaster.
Aw, that's adorable.
All right, there we go. Sparky Toaster. I'll just do a little hi over there, and then he could tell me the horrible, horrible thing he learned in electronics school, and then I'll read it quietly to myself, process it, and I'll probably say, "Yep, I'm not going to say that out loud."
Unless he says it out loud and says, "Yep, I did not say that out loud."
But bad boys, willingly. Okay, that's wow, that's memorable. I don't have a clue what any of the other things I read was before, but this one will probably stick in my head. So there we go. OX64 laughing because I read the last word.
You know, you shouldn't corrupt him more than he already is corrupt. Just saying.
Well, now I'm gonna have something, because let me tell you, I know there's a color code to resistors, and basically I would just look it up. I never made an effort to memorize that, but then again, I'm not working with electronics every day. But that's probably a useful thing to know. OX64 clips the Johnny reaction to resistor races.
Yes. Yes.
Just kidding. That'd be a worthwhile clipping. And I see where that could be changed a little bit to be yeah, that is interesting. But that's the thing, is that things like that are memorable and they work. I mean, that's anyways, I need to find another topic. We got 30 minutes left here. So how are things in California there, Mars?
It's gonna be warm. It's gonna be 90 degrees tomorrow for this
Oh,
week,
wow.
which is nice. Yeah, be nice.
Yeah.
I can take off my sweatpants, put on shorts. I spent a week watching a dog, and I went to the drive-through shot place today for my second one, which is pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got my second shot on Friday before I went turntable shopping. So, yeah, I'll be immune in a few weeks.
Unfortunately, the drive-through shot place is closing, so I can't put my arm out the window and get a shot anymore.
Wait, did you got your second, or you got
I got
your
my
third?
second one, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I got
so
my
you
second
don't... Well, what, you were going to go back for thirds?
Why not? I mean, what? Who stops at seconds, Gators?
If 2 shots is good, 3 shots are great. Yeah. Well, I'm a bit of an asshole, in case you haven't noticed, because and I do these things to be funny, and luckily I have a great wife who gets it. Because when Kristen got her first shot, like the rest of the day, she wasn't able to lift her arm up over her head because of the soreness in the arm. Which by the next day she could lift the arm, and it stays a little sore for a little while. That's no biggie. So I come back from the turntable shopping and all that, and getting the second shop, and Chris asks how'd it go. Oh, it went good. At some point I'm at my phone, and so I need to go like tap something on my phone. So I do like a wide stretch around with the finger to tap the phone like that, and she's like, "Are you showing off?"
You know what,
Yes.
Gators? Remember when you were young and got a ring upside the head? You know what? I'm just saying, I don't think that her arm might be sore, I'm just saying I don't think it's that sore.
Well, no, her arm's not sore anymore. She's recovered. I'm just doing the whole like, yeah, you had this, and
Yeah.
and my arm was sore, and I didn't want to lift my arm up over my head, but the joke was too good. And then the next day I wake up, feel like $1,000,000. I'm not feeling under the weather. Whereas Kristen, she felt a bit under the weather for a few days after getting the second shot.
Sorry about
which
that. That sucks.
and I took care of her, and we ordered dinner a few of those days to make things easier on her and all that. And but then Saturday I'm like up and about, getting ready to make shelves and run wires and things. And she's like, "Am I a horrible person that I kind of wanted you to feel bad like I did?" And I'm like, "Yes, you're a monster." And we laughed, and I said, "Well, if it makes you feel better, I'm only feeling about 95% today." Yes.
Oh my god.
We have good
She's
laughs.
so pimp slap you with these gay skaters. Oh my god. She's gonna pimp slap you down to the ground.
No, we laugh. We laugh.
I know.
And OX64 writes in, "It's so weird hearing completed thoughts." This is nice, isn't it? I haven't had a complete thought on this show, and how long have we been doing
So
this?
did you say next week is all Brian all the time?
Well, maybe Brian will invite his brother, because he keeps on saying that he's going to get his brother connected in, and apparently Brian's brother is the talker, which is why Brian is the interrupter.
Well, if that happens, I am just gonna sit back and listen on the stream.
You know what? I should have a bucket of popcorn, like off camera, like down the floor over there somewhere, not invisible, so that at some point, once the tone is set that he's gonna talk and no, you're not, I could just kind of do that, just kind of grab my bucket of popcorn, start
See, he's being fancy with the bucket. I usually get the big giant bags from Walmart and just start eating. I mean, that's more ghetto.
They got the when I go to the flea market, the Raynham flea market, they got like the big kettle out in the parking lot with the guy with the paddle that's popping that.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds good, yeah.
Maybe I ought to buy a big bag of that. I could pull that out next week.
But that
And,
means you'd have to go to a flea market and end up with another turntable.
I just might, because now I'm keeping my eyes out for a good turntable with a good tone arm on it that'll pair nicely with my Signet. So Sparky Wright said, "Yes, let's do it." Now, the thing is, I don't know. Brian's been talking about having his brother on this show for years. So I was a little suspicious when 2 weeks ago he was like, maybe we'll have him on next week. And I wasn't surprised when last week it's like, yeah, no, we didn't have a chance to set him up. And so we'll see. Let's see. And while they are talking, eat popcorn, crunching right in the mic while they talk. What,
Oh, we need some kettle corn for that one. That stuff's good for crunching.
What do you think I am, Gothard? Gothard was always good for eating in the mic. That was... well, we'll have to, I like that idea. Maybe I can get some pretzels, and a warm bottle of water.
Oh. Yeah, no gators.
No?
No.
Is the pretzel joke's over?
Well, it's never over, gators. It's never over.
That's the joke of it, is it's never over. It will forever be...
That's because it was just sitting there playing for 8,000 years.
It just happened to be that was the the ad that was in the very short rotation that was only supposed to ever run for like 2 minutes, but
yeah, it didn't.
It didn't. It
You're listening to the No Holds Barred Radio 4th Annual Telethon. Visit nhbradio.com and donate so I can get more pretzels. These are good. Fucking shit, these are great. I need some water though. Fucking shit. Oh, fuck. That's a fucking warm bottle of water. Who gives a shit? Donate today.
Or this ad will keep running and running and running and running and running. Donate until if you don't donate, we're going to keep playing the ad.
There is that. That is classic. Let's see, what's this one? Oh, it's the same
You're
one.
listening to the Chess Annual No Holds Barred Radio Telethon. Visit nhbradio.com and donate so I can get more of these pretzel nuggets. Oh man, these are so good. I need some water.
Yeah, that's what you get, sir. That's
Don't
what
forget
you
to
get.
donate.
You're listening to No Holds Barred Radio 9th Annual Telethon. Visit nhbradio.com and donate so I can get more pretzels. I'm gonna need a gut. It's not good, great. Yeah. I need some water off.
That was my attempt. That was my Liam impersonation, is what that was right
Gators,
there.
You can redo that for Twitch. You say donate, give bits, or give bits on Twitch. Otherwise, I'll keep.
Yes. I remember, like, the year after the pretzel bit, like, Forge and Loopy did a bit where Forge is talking about how they got some great dips for the chip this year or whatever, and then, like, Loopy's like, Forge, have you seen my cold cream? Or something like that. I don't know where that clip ended up.
Oh God.
I have so many files that are so not organized.
I'm sure it's on one of your hard drive somewhere.
It's got to be. You know what? I'm just going to search the word Forge on my NHB hard drive.
Are you sure that is why, sir?
Let's see. Well, we got Forge's political view.
Hello, you're on the PTR. What's up? That's it. I said if I heard that sound clip one more time, I was going to call in and let you all know I have a new political stance. I have been swayed, Mike. My eyes are now open.
Who the fuck are you going to vote for now?
Obama!
Vote.
Okay. Well, anyways, I don't know. There's that. Of course, there's
Hernia with V, Forge. Hey, Forge, I got a job for you. You go put these units in the truck and you go home.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Anything for staff.
and that's based on a true story right there. So
I don't know if you really heard the ripping and the thing exploding out, but
yeah.
The scream, yes.
Now, let's see. We got Forge's testimonial. I don't think that's the dip thing, though. I think it's probably just a plain testimonial. Yeah, that's just going to be one of those. We don't need to... Let's see. Forge's mashup? Okay, so it's one of those. Let's see. Forge.mp3.
I know the lines. I think I got them all in order.
Okay, this is Dune from the Dune and Bob Show.
Oh, it's you.
This is Dune from the Dune and Bob Show.
Number
And
2.
Bob's not here.
Oop, I talked over you. Do it again.
Oh, okay. So that's probably from one of Dune's desktops, is probably what that is, from that promo he put together. Let's see.
You must have some interesting things from that desktop.
Because I have all of Dune's old desktops saved on this drive. Every now and then I, go looking for incriminating evidence. I mean, interesting show content.
Poor dude.
And,
Poor dude. One of these days he's gonna wake up in a cold sweat. Oh my God! Was that on one of the old desktops? Crap.
Let's see. We got Forge, Samamonial. Oh, it's another testimonial. Let's see. We got Forge spanks his bacon.
Sometimes I spank my pork. Sometimes I spank my beef. Every once in a while, I might even spank my bacon.
Let's see. We got ForgeFunny.mp3. That's another one of those. And then we got Larry forgets to wipe his ass because the word forget has Forge at the start of it.
P.U. What's that horrible stench?
Oh, did I forget to wipe my ass upstairs?
Okay, so that had nothing to do with Forge.
Thanks. I mean, that could, but I don't know.
That is what happens in Leisure Suit Larry 6 if you give the command to pull up your pants when you're done using the toilet. Well, no, actually, it's one of those things you discover by accident because in Leisure Suit Larry 6, you could use you could sit in the toilet and use it, and then when you're done, you're supposed to tell him to use paper. But you figure, all right, like stand up, and you do the stand up, and he pulls his pants up as he stands up, and I'm like, wait, why did you pull your pants up? Why would you do that? And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then you go down to the lobby, and the receptionist goes,
You! What's that horrible stench?
Oh, did I forget to wipe my ass upstairs?
So it's a little accidental discovery in the game that I made by not realizing I was supposed to specify to him to use the paper before he pulls his pants up as he stands. It was comical to me that I'm like, all right, get up off the toilet. And he pulls his pants up. I'm like, no, why? Wait, but why would you do that?
Why would you want him to use the potty and use the...
Well, you get points for using the potty.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. 5 at Doom writes in, we should do a Twitch telethon. We could make up to and including $2.99.
People are doing 24-hour streams.
And OX64 writes in, Amazon makes $1,700. Oh yeah, I mean you can make money. Well, the easy way to make money from Twitch is to take direct donations. And I mean there are people that do the 24-hour streams to try to raise a certain amount. And
a lot of that's charity though when they do something like that. So.
Well, not always. Like what was it? Lemon A Go Go. Who's very talented. I know that when she was trying to make the final push to get money for their upcoming move, they were kind of struggling she did a 24-hour stream to try to generate more income to put towards her upcoming move. And I don't know if she reached her goal, but she came close to it because I didn't watch much of it. And I will say that when she did the 24-hour stream, she, was very careful in her song selection, and she had her husband come in at times to help her back up with some songs or to take breaks here and there. And by the end of the stream, she was, not singing as many songs and was only, going easy on her voice because she was. I don't know how you do a 24-hour stream. You really gotta. You can't just do it. You got to make sure that you prepare and that you do it in a manner that you preserve energy and resources and whatever.
Dune's
not for writing
a 24-hour 5-hit Dune show?
Oh my God, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
There we go. 24 hours of Dune spinning tunes.
I think Dune's using the automatic DJ and disappearing for a while.
He's just gonna you're gonna see him sitting in his chair, and you're gonna notice a point where suddenly he moves like that every 5 minutes, because that's where the loop starts.
And there'll be no blue bottles involved either.
No blue bottles. No. OX64 writes in, I did a 24-hour for Extra Life. I found out being old and doing 24-hour stream, bad idea. Well, what qualifies as old these days?
I mean, OX64, maybe.
Well, how old's OX64? Is he 64? I don't.
Maybe a boomer. Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know how old any of these people are. I mean, I know how I have an idea how old Dune is, but let's see. OX64 writes, in 24 hours of Dune doing 5-hit. Hell yeah, it's so funny after 2 hours. Can't imagine 24. Oh, that's the catch, is you want to see 24 hours of Dune doing drinking 5-hit shows, is what you want to see.
That might last 3 hours.
I think he has to do the first 20 hours sober and then start drinking towards the end. Because otherwise you're watching the Dune gets drunk, Dune gets sober, Dune hates himself.
You know what? Dune is just going to put the dogs in a closed room and just have the camera on them for a while.
There you
honestly.
Go. 5-hit Dune writes in, oof.
Who doesn't?
Oof, that would be a bad headache. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's the thing. I think you could do long streams or you could do drunk streams. I don't think you can do both. And you know, that's the thing. You got to be able to wrap up. And I learned that one because I did my drunk stream, and then I was supposed to like do the show with Sloan. And we ended up doing the show where I passed out in a chair.
Yes, I remember this, Gators. I remember this.
That's where the dead Gators picture came from.
That's when Sloan told me to leave the server and go away. I remember this.
Oh, he says that to everyone.
But he said, leave. And I go, no. And Lulu was there too. And she's like, wait, no. And he's like, God, for God's sake, leave. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Gators will be back, right? No.
I was passed out.
No. I didn't. No.
5 hit Dune running in. Johnny and I both did the Blue Bottle stream.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was great.
It was, and that stream was so good that Dune had to put the empty bottle in a box and mail it far, far away from him so it couldn't hurt him anymore.
Gators just took a nap in the bathroom. That's all.
Yeah. A nice cozy you know, the tile floor in the bathroom was soothing. It's cold. Nobody understood me but that floor. I love that floor. Thank you for being cold. Nice soothing cold floor against my hot face. I don't know what Kristen would have done if she needed to use the bathroom. I'd be like, yeah.
She stepped over you, right?
Yeah, you can step over me. Don't mind me. I'll just look that way.
It's too like push you into the bathtub, so at least there'll be a clear floor.
Oh, there you go. That would have, that would have worked.
I mean, I've heard parties upstairs where the guy just goes to the bathroom and they have their barfing party in the shower and.
Hey, Shaniko, you come to say hi to everyone?
Kitty. Kitty's like, no.
Came to say hi, or you just can remind me that you like to get treats around this time in the evening?
Oh.
Is that what it is? You're just here to remind me you want the treats.
Like,
yeah, you're not coming here purring at me. You're looking at the door like, yeah, the treats are over there. Treats are over there down the stairs.
Gators, why do you not keep treats in your pocket just in case?
Because then they never leave me alone.
See? You now know how to keep cats around.
Yeah, I finally got Shaniko to, because here's the thing, I'm a little jealous of Kristen, because the cats seem to like Kristen a little more than me, and Hestia always, snuggles up in the bed, and for reasons, it's just simpler for, Kristen to have a bed in her working office or her room, and we do have the master bedroom, and generally I sleep in there, and different hours. So basically, Hestia cuddles up with Kristen in her bed, and then I'm all by myself in my bed. And so I bought myself a nice big thing of catnip, and Shaniko here loves catnip, and so I've been bribing Shaniko to stay.
You get your cat drunk to sleep with you? What are you doing, Gators? Gators, you're drugging your cats to sleep with you.
She loves the catnip.
Oh my God.
I put a little catnip on the bed. She rolls around. She purrs. She settles down, and she goes to sleep.
That's
and then
I drunk.
And I don't. No, she's not drunk. She's high. That's completely different.
You give your cats drugs to sleep with you.
Just to crash on the bed, because otherwise she's gonna sleep by herself in the chair in Kristen's room, and it's like, dude, there's plenty of room over here. There's already a cat in that room. You can have this room all to yourself. This is your territory. That's her territory. Aren't you supposed to be territorial? Come hang out with me, please. And I had to resort to catnip to get Shantico to share the room with me and sleep.
Wow.
5 writes in, you chummed the bed? Chummed. I'm not familiar with that term.
Yes, Gators chummed the bed.
I'm googling chum.
You should be googling chum.
To be friendly or to form a friendship with someone. Chum. So I friended the bed, or I made the bed friendly, or let's see.
basically you baited the bed so the cat would be friends.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I would say baiting the bed is a. This doesn't sound any better though. No, I'm just bribing the cat. That's all I'm doing. There's nothing wrong with bribing the cat. We've all bribed the cat at points in our lives.
To sleep with you though?
Dune, tell me you've never bribed your dog.
I think those dogs would have no problem jumping in bed with Dune. I don't think that'd be a problem, honestly.
Yeah, they also have no problem letting Dune know when the guest is using the guest bathroom at 2 a.m.
Hey,
so
you know what? That's an alarm system. I see nothing wrong with this. That's just protection.
OX64 rating bribing what cat?
God.
Oh dear. So yeah, and so now Shaniko, crashes in the bed with me at night because I got the catnip.
Oh my God.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Uh-huh.
She's happy. I'm happy. Listeners here are very happy with this amusing content that they could use to make fun of me. So it's win-win-win in my book.
Yeah. There could be a Twitter a Twitter tag called Gator Says and just random voice clips.
Gator says it's okay to bribe your cat with catnip to get him to sleep in the same bed with you at night.
Yes.
That's totally. I don't. I think that I don't see anything wrong with this. Well, after a day of sawing and screaming at walls, it takes a little catnip to get the cat to be okay with being in the same room with me for a period of time.
Now, is that catnip only for the cat, or did you try it too?
I've not tried that. Although, the thing is I will tell you, I first learned about catnip when I moved to Maine, and Gothard gave his cat some catnip. And I'm like, what's that? He goes, it's catnip. I'm like, what's that? He's like, it's like pot for cats. And I'm like, well, does it get people high? And Gothard said, well, my friend tried to smoke it once. He said it didn't work. That's all I needed to know. Someone else tried it, so I didn't have to.
Oh.
So apparently, no. Humans can't get high smoking catnip.
But see, and the problem is, I hear some cats don't get high from it. Some cats just say, "Yeah, that's nice," and keep going. So it might be the same
different
thing
cats respond to it differently. Like both of my cats like catnip. Hestia, she likes catnip. She's responsive to it. Shantiko, she loves catnip. Oh, she starts rubbing her face in it. She rolls around in it, gets it all over her, and purrs and paws at it. I mean, it is something to watch her just really get it.
It's not just getting her high. It's like sticking angel dust on the freaking bed.
It'd be like if I took a few edibles and start rolling around on the floor with the light. That's kind of what it's like. If I did that, you'd all be amused watching that. That's me watching Shantiko just rolling around like a pig in shit, but it's a cat and catnip. She's as happy as can be. She loves the catnip.
I think if that started happening, I'd leave your Twitch stream, sir. Just saying. I'm like, that's disturbing. Bye.
OX64 ready again. I can't make fun though. I have no wife or cat, so you got it made with both.
Well, cats are easy to get at least. You just go outside, there's random cats everywhere.
I'm sure there's an animal shelter somewhere. You can get yourself a cat.
Yeah. Or just go in my neighborhood, open the door, and there's a cat outside somewhere.
I mean, what I did was, and this is funny, because this story involves a guy whose name starts with A and ends with D, D-Y. But anyways, I went to the cat shelter and we got Shaniko, and I've told the story before. She chose us. We didn't choose her. She chose us. Because we were looking at the different cats, and you see the cute little kittens, and you're like, oh, get a cute little kitten, watch them grow up, and you don't know if they're going to be an asshole or not. Spin the roulette wheel, find out what you have, and then we're looking at the senior cats, and you feel like well, if no one's going to take this cat, who will? Maybe I should be a better person and pass up the kitten that everyone wants for the elderly cat and give it some, good senior months or last year or whatever. maybe we should. And then I'm like, do I really? Is that where I start? Maybe I should work up to the senior cat. Maybe I'd like to be that person. I don't know if I'm prepared to be that person. And then I go around the corner, and the little white fluff ball with the gray spot on it starts meowing at me. And I looked at it, and she meowed at me again. I raised her hand out. She sniffed. I turned, I looked at the kitten. She starts meowing at me again. I turned back, looked at her. She meowed at me. I say, hey, Kristen, come over here. Check this one out. And so that was when we knew that we had been selected. And that was how we got Shanico. And then I'm telling Addie about this. And Addie says, well, what if your cat gets lonely? You might want to have a playmate for your cat. You should probably get a second cat. And, I was like, nah, it whatever. It's Addie. Why should I do what he says? And then I got an email like a few months later from the animal shelter that they had received a large donation to redo the cat area. But in order to redo the cat area, they had to clear the cat area. So they were having free adoptions for that weekend to get rid of all the cats.
They had to get rid of the old stock to put the new stock on the shelf.
Right. And I said,
God.
We can get a free cat. And when I told Gothard this story, Gothard reminded me, no such thing. But that's okay. That's so we went to the animal shelter and we found a parking spot after doing a few laps because it was very popular that day because free cats. And you get a cat, you get a cat. Everyone's looking at all the cats. And so we talked to the one of the volunteers there, and I said, well, we already have a cat. We don't know if this cat has experience with other cats. She goes, well, you might want to adopt a cat that has had a history with other cats because then at least one of them has. And they said, well, we have one cat here. She's very shy. She doesn't come out. You might be able to see her eyes through her hiding. She's hiding in the little cat enclosure in there. But why don't you sit outside the cage and blink at her, see if you get her to blink back. And so we knew we were getting a cat with two eyes. That's all we knew, because she was Hestia's quite the scaredy cat.
Aw, kitty.
And I was like, you know what? That's okay. We'll get her. We'll set her up in the record room. We'll give her time to adapt. We can be patient and just kind of let her at her own pace. And the one thing I got to say is she was, even when she's scared, she's a sweet cat. Like sometimes a scared cat will lash out, and that's not her. She is scared as can be, run and hide, but she'll never attack. I've at least not in my experience. Not that I've tried to push her. I'm sure you push any cat, but she never. I mean, there were times where she's huddled up in the corner of an area, and I kind of reach my hand out a little bit, and no hiss, no swipe. Reach my hand out a little bit more, no hiss, no swipe, and I would pet her. And I mean, she's huddled in a corner, trying to maintain her safe space, but she's letting me pet her, and I knew that had to be very uncomfortable for her, and so I didn't do that long, and I backed off and I let her, get it. But that was kind of like the little starting points. Reach the hand out a little bit, test the waters. Never a swipe, never a hiss, but scared as could be. So later I told Addie, yeah, we got the second cat. And he's like, what? Why'd you do that? He's like, well, you suggested that, the one cat might get lonely. It'd be good to have two cats. He said, that's a horrible idea.
What?
And I got to say, I'm not surprised because that's exactly the type of thing Addie would do.
Well, yeah.
Give you advice. You come back, tell him you took his advice, and he goes, what? I said that? That's a horrible idea.
Oh, my God. Don't worry. I'm sure you learned, right?
Yeah. No, hey, everything worked out great. They're both great cats. And I got to tell you, if you're going to have one cat that's a little bit of a, not afraid to charge, and one cat that's, not afraid to hide, that's a good combination. Because, yeah, every now and then Shanico will do a little bit of run after her and pounce on Hestia, but never violent, never claws out.
Oh, yeah, just playing.
and Hestia will run off and hide and retreat. So one that's one pursuer and one retreater is a good combination. And it's not like
Hestia's becoming gonna attack back one day.
Well, Hestia has at times pounced back, never violently. I think once, after an encounter, we found that there was a claw mark on Shaniko's nose, and we were like, "Yep, don't want to do that again."
Yeah, next day, don't pounce.
So Sparky Toast writes in, Johnny's heart was won over by a few meows.
Yep, pretty much.
Ed Sparky Toaster reminding us that the clock is there. Show time allotted up. Show allotted time is up.
Oh no.
So, what did everyone learn tonight? Well, Mars, what have you learned tonight?
I have learned so many things. Gators is talking about holes and racks and putting things in and pulling things out of it. And he's also talking about getting his cat high and putting him on a bed and pass out. That's what I've learned from Gators.
I've learned I need to find out more about this Violet chick.
Oh, you're the Violet chick. Yes, Google, sir. Google.
I need to find out more about that. And Sparky Toaster has learned that Johnny wears Fruit of the Loom.
Oh my God. Well, great.
There we go. Well, we got to go find someone to raid now, so we're going to take a quick look at who is online right now and find someone to go raid. And so let's see. We got Lyle Forever, but I don't know. Most of his streams are kind of boring. Yeah, I sit through boring time to get through the good callers. We could always raid the Rickroll channel. That's probably not a good idea. I don't think we'll do that.
Yeah. I would. Yeah.
Let's see. We could always raid Ray Rachel. We haven't raided her in a while. And Vivit Dune learns that Johnny has a NAD.
He only has one though. Sorry. Someday he'll have a pair.
All right, let me make sure Ray Rachel's actually live. A lot of times when we try to raid her on a Monday, she's already done some painting, and there's more painting to be done. So
is she in a hot tub?
She's not in a hot tub. She's in a room, and she's got some paint on.
Does she have a random inflatable banana though?
I wasn't looking down that low. My
God.
I was looking at the paint.
Uh-huh.
Some great paint. All right, we're gonna raid Ray Rachel, and Dune says yas. All right, so thank you again for listening, and we will be back here next week, same time, same place. Maybe the Interrupter will be back, and Vamp goes on tomorrow. OX64 writing in, you was watching the paint dry? Yeah, I was. I'm going to go watch that paint dry some more. So tell Ray Rachel hi, and we'll see you next week.
See ya. Oh.
Is it going to say that we raided? Or does it not even tell her?
One of my customers today, he's like, well, I don't want you to come out on Wednesday because like it could rain. It's supposed to rain. And I was like, and then it could snow, and then it could be 100 degrees, and then it could be. I was like, how long have you lived in Texas?
All right. Well,
that's very a Texas accent.
That is.
Wow.
All right, we're gonna